How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we work together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build a positive mindset. My name is Henry, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how everything is happening for you to build that positive mindset. If you are struggling, if you feel like the world is against you, or you just have the weight on your shoulders, this is going to be the episode for you, because we're going to talk about how you can shift into a positive perspective and then use what you see to inspire you to create the life that you desire. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So you can pick a word. It can be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as we're breathing in, you're going to say that word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And then once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. Well, we're going to do another deep breath. This one is about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so that we can receive the message that we need to hear today to get us in that positive perspective. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And then once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. So I'm really excited about this episode because this message, it's one that I feel inspired by. And when we see things that inspire us, we can use that energy to move us forward. So before we dive into the message, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, which is actually going to be the center of today's episode. This episode of the Positive Mindset Podcast is brought to you by Athletic Greens, and we're specifically going to talk about AG1. Just one daily serving covers my day's nutritional basis and supports my long-term gut health with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients. It has become a morning ritual. It's the morning routine. We're getting the kids ready for school and I get my drink ready. It's the reward. I know that once their lunches are packed, they're dressed, everyone's ready to go, I have my AG1 shake and it sets my mood off in the right direction because I'm doing something positive for me. So if you are looking for a simpler and cost-effective supplement routine, Athletic Greens is giving listeners of the Positive Mindset Podcast a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/mindset. That's athleticgreens.com/mindset. Go ahead and check it out or click the link in the description. So what makes this sponsorship so unique is the CEO's story. So the CEO, Chris Ascendon, has this unique story in how he started this company. And when I heard it, I knew this had to be his perspective that I had to share. So not to go into too much detail, he was someone that was healthy, exercising a lot in the health and wellness space, and then started to get sick and was feeling sick and dealing with this chronic illness over and over and over again. So being someone that's in health and wellness, he tried to get to the bottom of it. When he went to the traditional sources, through his doctors and stuff, there didn't seem to be an answer. They didn't take tons of prescriptions and doctor visits and all that stuff, and that's what set him on the path to find the solution for himself. What he did was he created Athletic Greens, and the rest is history. And I thought that story was so special because it really reminds us how powerful perspective is. So think about this. Think about in high school, there's that person that is the great football player. Maybe they won the championship and they have the Letterman jacket and they were just the epitome of awesome in high school. And we've all heard this term before, but they peaked in high school. Then the rest of their life, they somehow still seem to see the world through the perspective of them in high school. They talk about the championship. They talk about the big game. They talk about school, they talk about those things over and over and over again, but life seemed to move on. And you interact with this person, you're like, how are they still seeing everything from high school? If that can happen from the past, it can also happen from the future. The difficult thing that you're going through right now, if you're only going to perceive it from your current state, it might be difficult to see the good. But if somebody can live in the past, that means you can also take the perspective of the future. Why wouldn't you create a future perspective, a future position of yourself, a future version of you that has not only solved the thing that you're struggling with it, but has grown from it, has healed from it, has become more powerful, more evolved, more loving, more understanding because of what you're going through right now? Your frequency is what you frequently see. What you focus on will expand in your life. So if you're going through something difficult and you're stuck on the thing that's difficult that's happening to you, and I know it's hard, I know when something is burning, when something is difficult, we feel that pain. It's hard to separate ourselves from it. But this is a solution. It's not meant to necessarily be easy. It's not meant to necessarily be fair. It is just a solution. We know that what you focus on expands. So why wouldn't you practice building a positive perspective of you in the future, that vision in your mind of you healed and seeing things from there? It's like at the beginning of the podcast when we take that deep breath in and you're bringing that frequency within you and you're saying it over and over and over. I have a vision in my mind that I use every single time. It's me successful. It's me abundant. It's me moving freely. So that way I can get into that energy as the podcast starts. So I'm not doing the podcast for my current day's energy. It could have been a tough day. And if I don't clear my mind and change my perspective, then the podcast could be stuck in that energy. But the version of me that I connect with when building this message has grown through that, has the healed perspective on it. That is why everything is happening for you. If you're going through a tough time and then you're able to change your perspective so that you can see from a different angle, so that way you can start visualizing things that are good for you and bringing them within your life, that is a skill that you are building up through the difficult time. Again, it's all happening for you. It's up to you to decide how you're going to perceive it. Perception is everything. It's not the thing that's happening that dictates how you feel. It's how you perceive it, how your inner state is when things happen. If you're in anxiety, if you're stressed, if you're struggling, when something happens, it's going to amplify that. But if you're operating from inner peace, if you're operating from true love frequency, meaning if something happens against you, you have forgiveness. If something attacks the human you, it doesn't attack your energy because you're able to separate. That is high frequency. You have the power. It is your ability to do it. And the more you do it, the more powerful you become. You are a creator, and you have to know that. You have to remind yourself over and over and over, you are a creator. You are not a mirror. You do not have to be the external energy that's around you. That is a choice. It's not an easy choice. It may be very difficult to change. You may have spent 10, 20, 30 years in a certain element that has brought you down, that has built the negativity in your mind, that has lowered your perception, that has you thinking so smallly of yourself. And the journey may be a tough one. But what hero's journey is easy? I said in an episode a few episodes ago, angels would not come here for an easy life. Angels would not come here to just coast. Why would you view your energy as anything less than something that is powerful, something that is here to help? If you are here to help, you would go into the trenches. You would pick a life experience that is difficult. You cannot grow without the tension. So you decided to come in. Now give yourself that power back. You don't have to be victim to the current situations. That doesn't mean the current situation is easy. That doesn't mean there's a simple solution on how to get out of your situation. There could be kids involved. There could be lives at stake. There could be no money. There could be health. There can be all these things that are dictating how you're living and making it difficult to make the change. But if you start perceiving yourself as more, you will start to create more. Again, just like the story with Chris, he started getting sick. Most people, if they're in good health and they're young, would start asking why. Why me? Why is this happening to me? I'm doing everything right. I'm eating well. I'm exercising. This shouldn't happen to me. This should happen to someone else. But that difficult thing became the opportunity that inspired him to build an entire company. It doesn't mean what you're going through is going to help you create a company. But what it does mean that diamonds are created in pressure. Show gratitude for your situation. If you can love when there is none, you're in your power. If you can forgive when there is no forgiveness, you're in your power. When you can change your perspective when you're in a difficult situation and find an angle, even if it's in the future, that is a healed angle that sees the good, you are powerful. No longer view yourself as a victim of the situation. Everything is happening for you. Angels would not come here for an easy life. You are meant for more, you will be more, and you will be the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful. And I know it was kind of weird having a sponsor and then building an episode around that. That wasn't the initial intention, but when I heard that story, that was just the thing that came to my mind and I wanted to share it. So hopefully you were able to sit through all that and find some positive perspective. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link in the description. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below. I appreciate all the follows there, and of course the people that have messaged me on Instagram. That's the best place for direct messages. Those messages are so inspiring and they definitely motivate me to keep doing what it is that we're creating here. And if you want to join the Positive Mindset Facebook community, there's a link down below for that as well. It's a fun place. More and more stuff is starting to come there, and I'm so thankful for everybody that has joined. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.